Stand outside the front entrance of Middlebush Hall. What comes to mind? Maybe you've taken an exam in the packed auditorium, used the dusty chalkboards, or maybe have just walked by on your way to meet a friend downtown. Maybe you know that this building is named after Frederick A. Middlebush, former dean of the business school and the longest-serving president in Mizzou history. Middlebush started here as a professor, became dean within a few years, and by 1935 he was running the entire university. Not a bad resume. Now, let's start walking at a steady pace towards Cornell Hall. During the era of Middlebush, the university grew a lot. As one oral history puts it,
the university administrators, I think, were very highly regarded in those days. Middlebush was president during a good part of that time. The curators used to be, I think, more generic in their interest for the university.
That last line, more generic in their interest, puts plainly that universities weren't thinking about branding, donors, or student experience the way they do now. Growth was happening at Mizzou, but in a different way. Middlebush as a building reflects that state of growth. When it opened in 1959, it was actually cutting edge. It was the first building on campus with air conditioning and an elevator. Kind of a big deal in the 60s. Business education was also growing. The first business class at Mizzou was 15 students. The most recent freshman class in the fall of 2025 was around 1,600. As you walk, think about what happens when a program grows that much. It's not just about needing more classrooms, it's about needing a different kind of space. By the late 20th century, business classes were spread all over campus. Enrollment was rising, and Middlebush Hall just couldn't hold everything anymore. At the same time, something else was changing, not just at Mizzou, but across higher education. State funding started shrinking in the 1990s, so universities turned somewhere new: alumni. Donors didn't just support the university, they started shaping it, funding special student programs, defining strategic priorities, naming buildings. The new business school is named after Harry S. Cornell, a University of Missouri alumnus and major donor whose gift helped make this building possible. Harry S. Cornell graduated from Mizzou in 1950 and then later became president and CEO of Leggett & Platt, a Fortune 500 manufacturing firm based in Carthage, Missouri. The Cornell family did not stop at supporting the construction of the school, but also permanently endowed the Cornell Leadership Program in 2015. We went from naming buildings after university leaders to naming them after people who help support their future. As Cornell Hall comes into view, what differences do you see? Maybe that the building is 3 times the size of Middlebush Hall? Maybe you notice the neo-Georgian appearance that complements the other buildings around it and on campus. Have you been inside Cornell Hall before? Non-business students might not have had classes here, but you might have been in to take an exam or to see a guest lecturer in the largest lecture hall on campus, Bush Auditorium. One of the biggest differences in Cornell Hall isn't its size, but its purpose. This building was designed for how students actually live and study. As Dr. Beth Marrs, who earned 3 degrees at Mizzou and is taught in both schools, puts it,
Middlebush at that time, there was no place for students to interact. There was no place like for you, there was no atrium, there's no place for you to sit around and engage with one another. So I think that the overall atmosphere is much better in Cornell from a student perspective.
Cornell Hall isn't just a place business students go to class. It's a place they want to stay.
Yeah, I definitely would call the business school home, despite also belonging to arts and science. I think a huge reason for that is the community I've found in the business school. The atrium in Cornell Hall is a big part of why I like the business school so much. I can walk in any day of the week, and I will know probably a handful of people sitting in there, and I'll immediately have a group of friends to go chat with, and I'll even get to class early just to hang out with said people. And so it really does make a class size feel smaller and make a campus of 37,000 students really breaks it down to a more manageable size.
Now let's walk inside. Maybe you want to overlook the atrium or sit down at one of the lounges. Anywhere you go, you can feel Dr. Marrs' statement just being here. You will find people studying, talking, running into each other between classes. The first voice we heard comes from Dr. Hugh Stephenson, someone who lived during Middlebush's time, knew him personally, and went on to have such a lasting impact that the University of Missouri School of Medicine named its Department of Surgery after him in 2003. The student voice was Max Meystrik, an honors math, finance, and statistics student. Max is a member of the Cornell Leadership Program. So these names, Middlebush, Stephenson, Cornell, they all represent different eras of the same university, different ways we recognize impact. Now think about the walk we just made, from Middlebush to Cornell. It's not about one building being better than the other. It's about growth, from 15 students to over 6,000. This walk isn't just about buildings. It's about what they make possible. And as the business school grew, so did the need for spaces that bring people together, not just move through them. Standing here now, that difference is hard to miss.